Hey everyone, it's Squid. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know the drill. It's Thursday. Um, I'm not feeling so hot after I ate lunch and worked out and took a shower. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm kind of dazed and confused right now. So we're gonna keep this one a little shorter than the last couple. It's just a day. I I have to call the lawyer's office. I have to do a whole bunch of stuff today that I'm just like, I don't want to do. But in order to close on my house next week, I have to do, and I don't want to. I want to close my eyes and just stare at the inside of my eyelids for like 3 hours. That's all I want to do. But maybe it's the fact that I didn't even finish my Celsius from earlier and I'm having a caffeine withdrawal. Who knows? So, but as always with me on a Thursday afternoon, I have the one, the only Captain Kearn. Um I was talking to you beforehand and saying I couldn't remember where we left off. I remember where we left off. We had just finished jury instructions
Yes.
because I was pissed about the jury instructions. And I used that when I was watching the Colin Griffith case. It was like, I know jury instructions are boring, but they are vital. They are vital as to how the jury is supposed to form their decision. Not the facts, but the law. And if you don't write jury instructions correctly, you end up screwing over possibly the victim, the family. You don't get the conviction, or if you do get a conviction, you get a lesser conviction. These jury instructions were just screwy. Things didn't make sense to me. Manslaughter was not mentioned in the felony section of life. Um, so we are no. All right. I am just going to share my window again because it was so easy. How the heck did you get closing so fast with the VA loan? Took a month or more for all the appraisals and inspections before we could close. We went under contract the beginning of January. So it's been, it'll be a month and a half. It's six weeks. So, yeah, but the house was also built in 2023. So the inspection there was nothing wrong on the inspection at all. Nothing needed to be fixed. The appraisal came in perfectly fine at asking price. Nothing needed to be done. So it was kind of easy to everything went smoothly until the money issue, which I have to bust my butt a little bit more, but it's going to be fine. Like, it's not that we can't afford it. It's just, when you're budgeting for a certain thing and you're like planning on this, and then lo and behold, it's not that. It's a few $100s higher. It's like, not that you can't afford it, but like other things that I wanted to do, like you get a new vehicle or, maybe put her in gymnastics. Like, we might just have to put those on pause for a little bit because
Just 50 cents a day, ladies and gentlemen.
you can sponsor a squid. So I was watching YouTube videos of Nick Cannon's show Wild and Out. And even though I'm
Mhm.
not a fan of like Nick Cannon's like personal life and the show is freaking hilarious.
Oh,
Like,
it's great. Yeah.
the show is hilarious. Like, and I was talking to Flash Fan about this one time, and I was like, the hood Jeopardy. It was like things your black mama said to you, and it was like, I'm like, my mom must be black because she said that same shit to me. I was like, it kind of shows you that we are not as different as the media and the world tries to paint us as. Because one of the things was like, I'm not like, close that damn door. I ain't paying to air conditioning the whole neighborhood. I've said
Yep.
that to her. I've said that to Mr. Squid. My mom said that to me. Like, And get your ass in the mother effing house before I mother effing beat you back into next week so you can try again, or but last week. You know how many times my mom told me she was gonna knock me into yesterday so I could try this whole situation again? Like, for only $19 a month, you can adopt this good family, and maybe you'll get an adorable blanket. I am not trying,
Maybe.
but I can try.
There's no guarantee. Maybe.
If you can deal with my cognitively impaired and poor proprioception, like in college, we had a not an arts and crafts class, but it was like it was activity analysis. So we had to pick an activity and we had to break down exactly like what was involved. So like opening this, to the average person, it's just opening a jar. To me, it's cognition and being able to grasp the 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 bottle, use this grasp pattern, tell your brain to hold it this way, don't tip it, take your other hand, make both hands work together, use that fine motor control. We had to literally write out everything. Well, one of the projects we had to do was we had to crochet a hat, like because we were donating them to a NICU. And like my brain and the Chiari, I have figure ground issues, which means if there's a white sheet, like a white piece of paper on a white sheet, my brain can't tell that there's two different objects unless I'm like slowly scanning. That's why like nothing I have is white because I can't put like if I put a black piece of paper on my printer, I wouldn't be able to see it until I know it's there, and then like I can see the paper. Now that I know it's there, I can physically see it. But like just quick scanning, I'll be like, "Where are things?" And it's like I can't see it. My brain just doesn't. So trying to do that in college, I'm like, I'm telling my teacher. And she's like, "What do you mean you have figure ground issues?" I'm like, "Remember the fact like the figure ground issues that we talked about in the other class that you taught? I physically cannot do that." Like uh, so I'm like trying. My hat looked I got it done, but it was like it gave me a migraine just trying to do it. And I'm like having to like focus. And she's like, "You're really concentrating." I'm like, "I have no choice. I either do that or fail the assignment." I can't not do things. It hurts. Ugh. Born in the city, but eventually left the door open enough to be born in a barn. Yeah. I got the "were you born in a barn?" So like when I'd walk into a patient's room, if the door was open, I'd leave the door open. If the door was shut when I walked in, I'd close it behind me. And people would like look at me like, "You don't have to close that." I'm like, "I leave things how I found them. If it was open, I leave it open. If it was closed, I leave it closed." Like you don't touch somebody else's stuff and like you put it back exactly where you found it within like a millimeter of where it is. So anyway, since we've done the obligatory 10 minutes of, you know, stuff, um, we are going to get into this. Well, and this is a hard topic, but a necessary thing that we need to go over. And I believe that educating the world on what went right and what went wrong is important for advocating for yourself and others in the future. The more you know, the more you can advocate. Hey, Angel, you have two iPads right now. Pick one. She was coloring on my iPad and then she opened YouTube. So she's literally sitting on her couch with one iPad to her left or her right and one iPad in her lap. And they're both playing YouTube. I'm like, you got to pick one, girl. Here. Mommy's going to take that one. There we go. Jeez. What would her pediatrician say if she saw that she had not only one iPad, but two at the same time? All right. This is the commitment to the Nebraska Department of Corrections. So, sorry, English is hard and speaking is hard. All right. State of Nebraska versus the douchebag who shall remain nameless. I almost want to like redact these and put douchebag over the top of it. just a join the club. My niece, the same thing. Yeah. I'm like, girl, you got to pick one. All right. The defendant, douche, was convicted on the charges of manslaughter, a class 2A felony. It would have been nice if they would have put that in the jury instructions that was a felony. Criminal attempt terroristic threats, a class 4 felony. Criminal attempt terroristic threats the second time, class 4 felony, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, a class 2 felony. The court finds that having regard to the nature and the circumstances of the crime and the history, character, and condition of the defendant, incarceration of him is necessary. You think? I like how they have to be so specific about this, but it's like you could just literally write, he's your problem now. That's it.
Dump him in a
Here
hole.
he was convicted of this. He's your problem now. All right. On May 2nd, 2023, the defendant was for the above named offenses and hereby sentenced to incarceration in a facility to be determined by Nebraska Department of Corrections as follows. As to count 1, manslaughter, the defendant is sentenced to an indeterminate term of incarceration of not more than 20 years and not less than 20 years. Count 3, term of 1 year. I can't believe 1 year for one year for that. Another year for the second criminal attempt terroristic threats. As to count 5, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, class 2 felony, to an indeterminate amount of time of not more than 20 years and not less than 10. So there is a chance that he will be out by 2053, which he will be 70. Well,
With
69.
with good behavior probation, I was told he could be out in, well, from today it'd be another 4 years.
What happened to the not less than 20
No.
years?
I know what it says.
And that's the other thing about our justice system that I don't agree with, and that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, is even though you did this, if you act like a model prisoner, you can be out well before your time. And it's just, it's it sucks. It sucks. Like, there's no other way to put it. It sucks. But the more that we know these things, because when the average person who spends their day knowing nothing about the justice system, has never interacted with the justice system, has never read court documents, has never been a victim or a family member, has no idea that this happens. So they don't know to tell people, like tell their, representatives or their congressmen or their governors or anything. They don't know to complain about this because they don't know it's a problem. And it's the guy who killed my friend is hoping to be out in less than 10 after taking a guilty plea and getting 15 to life. Yeah, it's one of those things of minimum sentences mean nothing. And I do understand first-time offenders and people who can be rehabilitated. However, this dude's rap sheet goes back to 2004. So 2004, and that's just, he's my age. So I was 18 in 2004. So like, who knows what's sealed as a juvenile? I can't even, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I keep saying his rap sheet goes back to 2004, but I'm like, I was 18 in 2004. He's only a few months different than me. I can't remember if he's older or younger. But it's one of those things of like, he's not a first time offender, it's this is not yeah. You thought you were late and the stream had already ended. No, we're just discussing how certain aspects of the criminal justice system suck. And I'm all about advocacy. Like I'm in a mom's group on Facebook and in my for my local area. And one of the women was like, I've had such a hard time getting Medicaid benefits from the state of Georgia. She's like, I apply and I call up to see the thing about my application. And they're like, well, you have to apply online. She's like, I did. And it's like, I was like, if you ever want to talk anonymously and bitch about the state of Georgia, and I have 3,000 people that would be more than happy to do an action stream and call the governor and just bitch how his systems suck. Let me know. Like, you don't have to go on camera. You just have to tell your story. And I still have scripts from Megan about what to say if you're a resident, what to say if you're a non-resident. Like Megan did a whole action stream, more than one for the Hernandez case. Like I have people that are more than willing to do an action stream to get some, even if it doesn't change, they at least know that you're pissed. Because if nobody complains, not to be a Karen, but if nobody ever complains about anything and we just take it as the status quo, nothing changes. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to educate with my channel. Is like, I know I talk about drama and the Hales case and that gets the numbers and all that, but it's really to get the numbers on my streams so that I can do streams like this and get eyes on them. Like it's a give and take. Yeah, that's an interesting case and it's funny. It's kind of ridiculous at this point, but I do streams like that so that with the hope that those people will follow me to things like this. We can learn, we can discuss the problems with society, and we can fix them, or at least tell the people who are in charge of fixing them to do something. Because if we never complain, everything is status quo and they take it as, oh, nobody has problems, we're fine. And they don't work. So this is my goal with my channel at large. So I need to make a new like intro or welcome video on my page. You know how you can do that to like describe this. Because it's like the most important streams that I do and the ones that I really think should have the 1,000 viewers are not the ones that get the 1,000 viewers. But I do them anyway because I feel they're important. It's not a I don't want to do them because only 10 people see them. Well, who cares? Those are 10 people that can tell their friends. Or 10 people who might call their governor and say, fix this shit. Like I saw this on Squid's channel. This is the case. I'm a Nebraska resident. Y'all suck and you need to fix this.
No, nationwide, we need to have standardized laws on specific things. It varies too much from state to state, and nothing is nothing really
a fan of states'
gives
rights.
you any sense of justice.
Yeah, there's a disclaimer because everybody knows I hate the government, but there are certain things like public safety that I think the federal government should be in charge of. Mainly statutes of, time limitations, statute of limitations on crimes. Because what if you get ARPed? I'm just using this as an example because it's the easiest one to pick out because there's no statutory or there's no statute of limitations on unaliving someone. So that's kind of a, moot point. But say you get assaulted in one state, it could have a statute of limitations of 10 years. You live on a border county like Kenosha to Illinois, you drive a mile over the Illinois border and it's 5 years. Like I'm all for states' rights, but some things need to be standardized nationwide. There's a fine line. Yeah, if you don't let anything bad locked away from the world, unable to do anything bad, we'll let you out early. Lock a toddler in a room without anything to do, draw on the walls, they won't. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, good behavior in prison, which I understand prisons can be some dangerous places. Um, and sometimes staying out of trouble is very difficult to do. However, you're in prison. Like you're with other people who are like you because you couldn't be trusted to be among the general population. Like it's everywhere, not just Nebraska. Too many soft on crime politicians and judges. Yeah.
Yeah.
The For people who don't know about the Daryl Brooks case, you might have watched the Daryl Brooks trial, so you know about the trial. But Daryl Brooks was not from Waukesha County. Daryl Brooks is from Milwaukee County, which is one county to the east. It's like Milwaukee County's on the lake, and then Waukesha is directly west. So you just take 94 straight out of Milwaukee, and you'll hit Waukesha County. Um, that's the county I'm from. Um, and there was a judge. He was charged with assault on his girlfriend in Milwaukee County. The judge let him out, and then he did what he did in Waukesha. So just think, it's not like sometimes it's not. Yeah, it might have been a minor thing that they're in trouble for, but like, what could they do? What have they done in the past? And there's also nonviolent and violent. I think we're too harsh on nonviolent people. Like someone who got arrested for having marijuana is serving 10 years, whereas someone who unalived somebody could be out in 4. Like that the discrepancies in the harshness of that.
Yeah.
And especially like if you go to Illinois, recreational is legal. So like you could live in Kenosha, drive 20 minutes to Illinois at a dispensary, go home and get arrested. There's such I describe it to my overseas friends and my overseas viewers, like think about the European Union, how it's one giant and there's laws that govern the European Union that every country has to abide by, but you go to each individual country and laws are different. Welcome to the United States. You could go 5 minutes over here to a different state, or I know people's properties who cross state lines and like they're subject to this building is on this part of the property, so you're in Illinois or you're in, Georgia, and you just like the place we go hunting is on the Georgia South Carolina border. So like if you're hunting on one side and you're in the river, if you even need to stop on the other side of the river, even if it's to like my um boat is sinking and I need to get out of the water, if you're on the South Carolina side, you don't have a South Carolina hunting license and you're carrying a bird, you're screwed if you're caught. Like it's
Oh,
something as dumb as that.
I have a friend here in Colorado where I live. I'm 30 miles from the Kansas Nebraska border, and he owns 1,500 acres of land. Half of it, well, three-quarters of it is in Nebraska. The other quarter is here in Colorado. But the Republican River runs straight through it. He's a rancher. He cannot graze because of Colorado law. He can't water his cattle off that river. He has to fence the river off through his entire property, but they can drink out of it in Nebraska, in Kansas. Isn't that dumb?
Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb.
But yeah, I mean,
Waukesha is fun to say. So, my one of my exes was Illinois. He lived in Wisconsin, but he was Illinois National Guard, and they had to go up to Fort McCoy for something, and they stopped in Waukesha, and one of the girls was on her cell phone, and she was like, "Waukesha." I can never forget that. Angel, what happened? What happened, baby? She's coughing, but she doesn't have any water and she doesn't have anything. You want water? Okay. Your water's in the other room. I hope you'll just take mine. That'll work. Okay, just take my whole. She's like, your Stanley Cup today matches my shirt, so it's mine. Oh, oh boy. It's just like I'm all for states having individual laws in a sense, but there are some things that I think need to be standardized by the federal government, and statute of limitations and um minimum sentences for crimes are one of them.
especially for capital crimes.
Yeah. Um it's just so, and this is the one of my issues with the justice system. As to count 5, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, class 2 felony, to an indeterminate time of not more than 20 years and not less than 10. Counts 1 and see, and this is another issue right here. Counts 1 and 5 are consecutive to one another. The sentences on counts 3 and 4 are concurrent to the sentences in counts 1 and 5. That's another thing. Concurrent sentences versus consecutive sentences. Like it's just, so a lot of those don't even, yeah. Like, Angel, what's our fuss right now? What happened? No, I don't have anything for you up here. What are you looking for? It's right here. Oh, she's like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what's going on. She's just tired. Once again, she fought a nap. It's I don't have the time to lay down with her for 50 minutes trying to get her to sleep like it normally takes. It's like I want to be able to tell her to go in her room, lay down, and her to just do it. Like that would be the ultimate mom win for me. Is even if you don't fall asleep, you just have to relax and lay down in a quiet room for a while. Oh,
I've always believed in children's chewable volume, but
no. Yes, I did. I saw you commented on one of my videos from yesterday. I can't remember which one because I did 4 of them. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I got it, girl. I got it. Do you want to go in your room and lay down? Mm-mm. 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 There you go. Okay. Oy, oy, oy. I saw that you commented on one of my videos yesterday, so I thanked you there. But thank you for the $20 Cash App yesterday. It is very much appreciated. I am so lucky to have people who like is that person who was like, um I cover What the Hales for money. Like I have a monetized YouTube channel. Although I enjoy my content and I think some of my content is very important, at the same time, I don't like working for free.
well,
So
that's the whole
that's,
point of YouTube is, make money.
yeah, I mean, you don't make a lot of money, don't get me wrong, like, but for being a stay-at-home mom to be able to take care of my child and work, be online a couple hours a day is, and there's a lot of research that goes into it and like talking to people behind the scenes and trying to figure out how to get documents, where to get documents, you know, the best time to do things, what to talk about. There's a lot that goes into it, but the actual like physical like I can do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but I stream maybe 3 hours in one day. Like, so to be able to make, a little bit of money and be able to put gas in my car and, pay some extra bills.
Hey, at
Well,
this day and age, everything helps.
yeah, that's true. Oh, New Mexico is catch and release since it did away with cash bail for almost everything. Governor would rather strip due process from law-abiding citizens because she's anti-pew. Yeah, and you would think New Mexico like would be, because of all the ranches and, all the being a border state would be a little more like protect yourself. But
Well,
apparently,
the
and
problem with New
Cynthia, thank
Mexico
you.
is just like Colorado. Colorado has the I-25 corridor. It's full of the soft-hearted liberals.
Yeah.
And New Mexico literally has the same thing. The Albuquerque corridor, Las Cruces, all that area. They just, they control the state.
Yeah, it's like Chicago and Illinois.
Yeah.
One city, even though it's a very large city, people that live in one location control the entire state. And it kind of sucks. Atlanta's like that here for the most part. Like, New York City, all these big cities control. And yes, I know land doesn't vote, but at the same time, like, there's a reason why the electoral college is there. It's so that big cities don't run everything and don't have a say in everything. Because if they had a say in everything, anybody who lived outside of a city would be effed. Just saying. Because just like I don't understand living downtown in a city, you put a city person out here and they're gonna panic. It's dark at night, there's no lights. Like, you run the risk of, yes, and in cities, I know you run the risk of hitting wildlife too, but like here, it's once it gets dark, it's dark. Like once it gets dark, it's dark. Like there is one street light on my entire road. One. And it happens to be right in front of my house, but like you go out back and like I can't see anything. Like I can't see my hand in front of my face. It's quiet in a good way, but kind of a creepy way. Like Mr. Squid leaving me out in the woods by myself the first time I went hunting with him. That was I was expecting it, but like if you put a city person out in the middle of woods, like off grid, like you don't get cell phone service out there. Like you don't get cell phone service out there. Like you have gators, feral hogs, um, poisonous snakes. Like you out there. You're out in the truck is a mile away. He goes, "Oh, I left something in the truck and I'll be back." Yeah, 30 minutes later. It's 4:30 in the morning and here I am. If you see green eyes, run. Like, thanks for that heads up.
My stepdad did that to me when I was 9 years old. First time I went hunting with him.
Yeah, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Las Cruces have most of our population. They're deep blue. The rest of us are saying, Roy, I didn't realize you were in New Mexico. How did I not
I spent a
realize you
lot
were
of
in New
time down
Mexico?
there, so.
How did I not realize that you were in New Mexico? How did I not know that? All right. And then this is another thing. The defendant receives credit for 485 days previously incarcerated in this matter. This one I'm torn about because people that are found innocent are still incarcerated for that, like their time between they're arrested and their trial. So like I'm kind of torn on getting credit for that, but it's the concurrent and it's the
Consecutive,
concurrent
yeah.
sentences that I don't I'm not a fan of. The consecutive, like one right after the other, but when you are sentenced for two crimes at the same time and one is a year and one is a year and you only serve a year, like how do you serve the same time for two different crimes? Like, yeah, what are you in jail for? Well, my sentence, I'm here and I'm this year and this year, or this year I'm in jail for this. My sentence for this will be up at the end of the year, but then I have this. It's like it needs to be like one time, one crime. So either shorten the amount of time that the person gets. So say if you really want to do that, you get 6 months for this count one and 6 months for count two. Like not I don't like concurrent sentences. Long story short. Oh, I live right outside the back gate of White Sands Missile Range.
I know
Wow.
exactly where you live then, Roy.
Wow. I always like that White Sands Missile Range and Area 51, the flights that leave Vegas and go to, you know, Area 51. And then a certificate of service. And not to give people emails, but if you ever want to tell these people how much you hate certain sentences or you hate their things, there's their emails. And they're public officials. That's the um Douglas Warner is they're all nebraska.gov emails. So they're government officials. You have be respectful if you're going to do it. However,
Redress your government.
that's one of the major reasons that I have this YouTube channel is I we can't hold people accountable if we don't know one what their job descriptions are and two things that we believe they've effed up. I give credit where credit's due. I even give credit to Bubbles when I think he makes a good decision or I see his point and emotion. But I also like call out the bullshit when I see it. So it's I I try to be fair with, criticisms and I'm not perfect. So like it's one thing for me to criticize somebody on what they do, but um these are public officials and lawyers and people who are held to a higher standard than me on YouTube. Like there's a reason that lawyers have and most public officials are lawyers. Like I mean you literally have the attorney general and an assistant attorney general. Like they're lawyers. Like they're not only held to higher standards as elected officials or appointed officials, but they're held to a higher standard as their law profession. So you have double, and that's why I say call your congressman because most of them effers are lawyers anyway. And they not only are held to a standard of a politician, which really isn't that high, um, but a lawyer. So even though they are here's the caveat. Even though they are technically in Congress, let's say, um, they are still subject to the bar rules of the American Bar Association and their state bar, even if they're not acting in the capacity of a lawyer. That's the kicker. You can file bar complaints against a lawyer in Congress. Not saying that you should, I'm just saying you can.
And there's been many of them that have actually lost their license to practice law because of things like that. You know, Barack and Michelle Obama both lost their bar certifications before they got to the White House, as a matter of fact.
It's one of the yeah, this is another problem too. Like that's another problem too. But then when there is somebody who's a business owner or, you know, don't take this any which way, but a bartender, y'all know who I'm talking about. We give them shit about not being smart enough to be there. Even though I don't think she's smart enough to be there. Like, let's, but like we always talk about well, you're not a lawyer, you're not smart enough to be there, you're not qualified enough to be there. You can't have it both ways, people. And you can't bitch that people aren't qualified enough if they're not lawyers, but then bitch that there's too many lawyers in Congress. Like those two just don't like so, but yeah, you can file a bar complaint against a member of Congress who's a lawyer, even though they're not acting in the capacity of a lawyer. They are still subject to the American Bar Association rules and their whatever state they're barred in. So yeah, that's true too. That's true too. So, all right, let's get to this next one. Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, that's a whole nother can of worms right there, and we're just not getting into. I think she does a disservice to the people in her district, but that's just me. Because I can't remember the exact story, but she opened her mouth and started running her mouth about Amazon. Amazon was going to build a warehouse in her district, and they decided not to, causing her district lots of jobs because she ran her mouth. So, yeah, that right there. That right there. She told Amazon to kick sand. And I'm not a huge fan of Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, no. But at the same time, like, yes, and the more infrastructure they're building a Hyundai plant 50 miles from here. roughly. I don't know the exact, but the facility, I have to drive past it on the way to Savannah, and that thing is huge. And like that that's why the houses around here, there's so many houses available, is because, and it's so new construction, like the house we're buying was built in 2023. It's because with all the jobs that are coming in, those people need places to live. So there's a lot of new housing, new businesses are coming in, like all of this because of that plant. So if that Amazon warehouse and distribution center would have been there, that's housing, that's coffee shops, restaurants, like taxis, because it's New York. Like there's all the related stuff that people don't think about. And she cost her, oh yeah, plus the tax revenue. That's true too. And she loves her taxes, let me tell you. All right. This is his notice of appeal. This was filed May 16th of 2023. Comes now the defendant in the above entitled case hereby gives notice of his intention to appeal and prosecute an appeal to the Nebraska Supreme Court pursuant to Nebraska and I'm not sure what that stands for because every state's a little bit different. Basically, Nebraska statute 24-11061 from the judgment of conviction and aggregate sentence of not less than 30 years and not more than 40 years. See, and this is once again, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Yep.
My thing is you should, when you give someone a sentence, you should take into account the good behavior and probation. That is like you are basically lying to everybody who reads this document thinking that that is accurate. It's defendant was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of attempted terroristic threats, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, following a jury trial commenced on March 13th of 2023, and concluded by a verdict of guilty on 4 counts of March 16th of 2023. Defendant was sentenced May 2nd, 2023. Oy, oy, oy. So all of these people got served certificate of service. And let's just, I keep doing this. I'm just going to share my window. Their entire screen. There we go. Screen 1. So, yeah, and this is what YouTube Studio looks like, by the way. So, just in case anybody wanted to know. And then I have the chat popped out because I can't, when I type in StreamYard, I can't tag people, but here I can tag people. So there's my my 2 cents, and you can look at my you can see what my screen looks like. And this is all the topics that I cover. Like, people are like, here's what the hails right there. Like, there's what the hails. Other than that, it's look at all this. Look at all this. None of that is what the hails. And that's why people are like, all you cover is what the hails. It's like, no. That's all you watch is what the hails. Like, there's a big old difference between what you watch that I cover and if you go to my channel and actually look at all the videos. There's a big difference. All right, here's an order from the judge. All right. This cause came upon the defendant's application to prosecute an appeal to the Nebraska Supreme Court in Latin. In Latin, and I can't say it. And without prepayment of docket fees or other appeal costs, and is submitted to the court on due consideration, whereof the court sustains the motion of petitioner, and the clerk of the district court is directed to have a transcript and bill of exceptions prepared and filed at the expense of Kimball County. That's that's like skipping ahead.
Yeah.
Like, that's like,
but they're also billing Kimball County residents for his crime.
Yeah. Like, I had to read that. Like, I had to it I I had to like I had to pause. I just had to text my dad back. He was watching my stream earlier and heard about my reckless driving ticket. And he's like, reckless driving. I was like, I told you this. It was 24 years ago, but I did tell you because I was on my way to your house when I got it. Like, he just texted me and said, you never mentioned the reckless driving part, just the speeding. It's like anything over 19 over in Virginia is automatically reckless driving because they're just that, yeah. So it's not that I was, you know, pulled over for reckless driving. I was pulled over for speeding and my speeding ticket qualified as reckless driving. So I have to clarify. It's like anything over 19 in Virginia is automatically reckless, and I was doing 21-ish, I think, over. So yeah. Okay. I've got my track shoes on. You won't tag me. Hey Cynthia, I hope you're feeling okay. Hey, it's yeah, this we're just gonna read this again for emphasis. This cause came upon the defendant's application to prosecute an appeal to the Nebraska Supreme Court in forma pauperis. Pauperous. I don't know. It's Latin. I can barely speak English. Let's be honest here.
Prepared form.
And without prepayment of docket fees or other appeal costs. So you want to go straight to the Supreme Court without paying your appeal costs. Like, no. No. I just have to tell him it was reduced to a regular speeding ticket in court. And I was given a $50 fine. Plus court costs. And a hotel room because it was in Roanoke, Virginia, and I lived in Norfolk and had to take 2 days of leave and stay in a hotel and get my dress blue uniform dry cleaned because I went, full out like military on them. And is submitted to the court on due consideration, whereof the court sustains the motion of petitioner and the clerk of the district court is directed to have a transcript and bill of exceptions prepared and filed at the expense of Kimball County. So you sustained the motion of the petitioner, but you're still having that bill of exceptions prepared and billed to Kimball County residents. Neither, it's like, that's like, it's like, no, we're not going to let you have that, but we have to bill Kimball County for fixing it or for like, it just doesn't. Yes, 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 yes. I know. I was passing another car though. And you know how like you like to pass another car quickly so you can get back in the right lane and do your status quo stuff again? I sped up so I could get around a car and that's when I got pulled over. So, and yes, I cried, but it was literally the first time I'd ever been pulled over in my life and I was 19 or I was 20. So it was the first time I'd ever gotten in trouble for anything with the police ever. So I was panicking. Like I had a panic attack. Like I didn't cry to get out of the ticket because obviously that didn't work. But I was crying because I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. It's the first time, it was my first interaction ever with cops. And I was freaking out. Especially when it's like in a place where you're not familiar with. I was in Roanoke, Virginia. Like, what do I know? I think I was doing 80 something in a 65. Kelly Breen of the Nebraska Commission on Public Advocacy and Stacy Bach, Kimball County Public Defender, are appointed to represent the defendant upon this direct appeal. And the thing is like, I don't I don't know how I feel about direct appeals either. Like, you have an appeals court for a reason. What's your reasoning for going straight to the Supreme Court? Like, you have none. You unalived somebody. You didn't even deny that you unalived somebody. Like, it what reasoning do you have to go to the Supreme Court? Because usually it's I appealed it to this court and it didn't work. There's no, like, they didn't break his constitutional rights. Like, I don't understand it, but okay. We're just gonna, like, forget that we saw. Yeah, that's that one makes me mad. And we're just going down the list of these poverty affidavit. So we're gonna do a little we're gonna stop sharing my screen for a little bit, and I'm gonna do the Googles of forma pauperis, and we're going to see what exactly it means. We're gonna go to the Googles.
Google's is wise. The Google's knows all.
Well, the Googles doesn't know all, but it sometimes can lead me to a place that might know something. See, I love this. I love this. So this is what happens. Like, remember how I talked about Cornell earlier? This is Cornell. I love their website. Legal Information Institute. Like, basically law school for the layman. Proceedings in forma pauperis. Unfortunately, they don't tell you how to pronounce it. Subject to subsection B, any court of the United States may authorize the commencement, prosecution, or defense of any suit, action, or proceeding, civil or criminal, or appeal therein, without prepayment of fees or security thereof, by a person who submits an affidavit that includes a statement of all assets such as prisoner possesses. I'm assuming that was supposed to be possessions, that the person is unable to pay such fees or give security therefore. Such an affidavit shall state the nature of the action, defense, or appeal, and affiant's belief that the person is entitled to redress. A prisoner seeking to bring a civil action or appeal a judgment in a civil action or proceeding without prepayment of fees or security thereof, in addition to filing the affidavit under paragraph 1, shall submit a certified copy of the trust fund account statement or institutional equivalent for the prisoner for the 6-month period immediately preceding the filing or complaint or notice of appeal obtained from the appropriate official of each prison at which the prisoner is or was confined. An appeal may not be taken in forma pauperis. And any person smarter than me in the chat, please let me know if I'm effing that up, because there's a good chance that I am. If the trial court certifies in writing that it is not taken in good faith. I don't think anything this dude does is taken in good faith. And it goes on. I will put this, if you actually want to see it, I will put this in the chat, and y'all can do what you do. I just wanted to make sure that I opened up a search window and my email didn't come up, because my stream got demonetized because I showed my own email on accident. So, when you go to Google and it says, do you want to log into this site using, and my email, both my emails came up, and YouTube demonetized my stream. And not only demonetized it, they took it down because they said I was doxing someone. Myself.
Oh.
Yeah. That was about how that one went. So, I tried to, but they were like, send us the link for the stream. I can't, mofos. You took it down. I don't have access to it. And when
I think they do that on purpose.
Well, yeah, sometimes when I say YouTube is an a-hole, this is why. Like, they don't give you, like, they say send us the link. That's why I always try to share my streams on Twitter or X, and or the Discord is because that way I have a link to them. So if this ever happens again, I actually have the link, because going into studio, they won't give you the link because they remove your stream completely. Not even I can access it. And it was a good stream too. There was lots of people in there. Like, I want to say there was like 100 people in there. I'm like, damn, the ad revenue on that one would have put a tank of gas in my car. But now, yeah, not enough state legislatures realize they have the power to impeach judges who are not following the law. Yeah, that's true too. Hi, BB. Okay. See, this one, I literally say it matches her shirt because it's literally the same color. So she steals it. All right. Poverty affidavit and application to proceed in formal papyrus. The affiant, first being duly sworn, deposes and states, affiant has tendered with this affidavit a notice of appeal, and this affidavit is made pursuant to Nebraska statute 29-2306. Because of my poverty, I am without any funds nor property, tangible or intangible, to pay the docket fee herein. I am further unable to pay the incidental costs of this civil action. Oy, oy, oy. Affiant is further without funds to obtain counsel. That one I can agree with. Like, that one I understand. Because when you're in jail, don't have a job, like, an attorney is expensive. I get that one. Affiant requests court-appointed counsel to proceed in formal papyrus. Affiant verily believes he is entitled to redress. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Dated on the day he was sentenced.
Yeah, that he didn't even wait. They got straight to work. CP? Oh, okay. It's the baby squid show. Oh my goodness. Hi. Oh. Yeah, they didn't even wait a day. Like, do you want to at least wait a day? Just wait a day. Just wait a day. Oh. Multitasking. How? What am I, a jungle gym? Hi. Oh. All right. Thank you. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. Okay. And just so everybody knows, this is a lumen. It's not a vape. So my child is not playing with a vape. I breathe in and it checks the amount of CO2 in my breath and tells me if I'm burning fat or carbs as fuel. So it's not it's not a vape. Just making sure everybody's aware of that. It's not a vape. It looks like one, but it's not. All right. Press P for Bill of Exceptions. So Lynn nameth official court reporters. The defendant does hereby request that a bill of exceptions be prepared in this matter for appeal purposes. The bill of exceptions should contain the following: hearing on defendant's motion to change venue on March 13th of 2023. The jury trial commenced on March 13th of 2023 and concluded on March 16th of 2023, including all evidence and exhibits offered, whether or not received, voir dire, all motions and objections made in the course of trial, arguments of counsel recorded, including closing statements, but accepting opening statements, in-camera hearings on evidence during course of trial, and hearings on all questions submitted by jurors in deliberation. Sentencing hearing held on May 2nd, 2023. Like,
So he takes exception to everything that happened.
Yeah. I take exception to the fact that he takes exception. I'm offended by this. that
I
doesn't
take
mean much.
exception to the fact that he's still breathing.
There's that. Does Nebraska have the death penalty?
No,
They
they
should.
did away with it a couple years ago.
I had to look at a map because my geography, I know where states are. I can point out states on a map, but I didn't realize when I had asked you why she went to Nebraska, it I in my mind I had it like it was a couple states away, and it's like no, it's not. They touch. And I had to actually look at a map and think about it. And I was like, that's not as far away as my brain was making it, seem like.
Wait,
Yeah.
they
We are
removed it in
offended that he is
2015.
offended and the ability to be offended and not asleep. Angel.
Nebraska's legislature voted to abolish the death penalty in 2015, but voters reinstated it in 2016.
Interesting.
I was told they didn't have it by Doug Warner.
Well, we found another problem. I'd be emailing that mofo and saying you lied to me. Just I have a list of discrepancies that I can write down for
So do
you.
I. I have them.
And this is why we are going through all these documents one by one and reading them, even though some of them they seem like, why are you reading something? A bill of exceptions. It's because we discover things and we talk and we're like, oh, he's I would have never thought about the death penalty about that if you hadn't mentioned something. And then this is why we do this. I know that these streams aren't don't get the 300 viewers like other stream does, but this is Angel. Anybody want a toddler? Who has no no knowledge of consequences of actions right now. She just throws herself in various directions and expects me to make sure it's all good. Jeffrey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Nap fun for baby squid. Get a new stuffy. What's her favorite animal? Right now, we are stuck. I know it's not real, but we are stuck on a unicorn theme. You want girl, you are I do. What?
You asked if anybody wants a toddler.
Oh, yeah. Next Friday you can have her. And the Friday after that too. Next Friday we're signing the closing paperwork, and then the Friday after that we're moving. So it's like the Friday after that.
Have one sore hand.
Yeah.
When we bought this house, we signed papers for 2 hours straight.
You do realize that I joined the military, right? You know how many times at MEPS that I had to put my name on paper?
Well, yeah, that's true, because they don't do anything in triplicate. They do it in 33s and 70s.
And it's not just sign once and initial. It's sign your full name, not just, your first and your last name, and not your middle initial. You have to sign your full name.
Yep.
It's, yeah, so right now we were kind of at an impasse, in the sense of the money that I have in my check or my savings account that I thought we were going to be able to use, we cannot use. But we have worked it out where we just won't use that money and we'll refinance later. But so it's not the original plan, but we're making it work. So as of now, everything is sort of back on schedule. It's just we have to sign new paperwork. That's it. The unicorn does exist. There's evidence that the unicorn was what we call a rhino, and bicorn is either two-horned rhino or bull. Interesting. I'm not going to justify that. We're not the Marines. Jeez.
No, the Marines can color.
No, they don't color with the crayons. They snack on them. They're like
Eventually
French
they
fries
do.
to those guys. Or they write on windows. Some state attorneys love prosecutorial discretion option when deciding how or if to charge. My view is their only job is to represent the victims who in capital cases have no voice. Yeah. So, close second. Guys, you can't keep putting the Marines down. The Air Force exists. That's it. The Coast Guard's not Department of Defense. So,
No, the Coast Guard is the toughest of all of them. I tried to get into the Coast Guard when I was 18. No, didn't happen.
The Coast Guard is well, back then they were Department of Defense. Now they're Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So they are no longer. You can always join the Space Force.
I would love Space Force. I would be sitting in a cubicle with a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, Chair Force.
I'd be live streaming my day every day.
Note to self. Send Captain Kearn a tinfoil hat.
Tinfoil.
All right.
It's just if I use it for bad purposes, my wife will kill me.
Does mac and cheese crayons taste like mac and cheese? Ask Bubbles. I can never look at, I still don't have any idea what the hell that case is about. I have no desire to learn. I think Rogue Mama has tried to explain it to me more than once, and it goes in one ear and out the other because I still don't know. But I can never look at mac and cheese the same way again. But here's the. Oh, I thought I had it. I don't. Okay. I thought I had my my picture of mac and cheese on my avatar. Nobody does. The documents are written in crayon. Ew. Okay, we're getting sidetracked. Ew. This is bad. All right, this is just from the clerk of Nebraska Supreme Court and the Nebraska Court of Appeals. Written to the Kimball County clerk. We have received and filed the certified copy of the notice of appeal in the above captioned case. Please respond to the Court of Appeals number and use it for all future correspondence and filings. So, I have no idea. I tried to get into the Air Force, but back then they wouldn't take you if you're flat-footed. Well, when I almost thought the signature was Wussman. Wendy Wussow. What a name. What a name. And these documents are all in May. He was sentenced May 2nd, and these are all the documents within weeks of when he was sentenced. But he was sentenced, the verdict form is up here. So you can see my mouse. The verdict form is up here. These are all the documents after he was sentenced. There's more documents, about the same number, if not more documents after his sentencing than I just can't. This dude. All right. Estimate for bill of exceptions. Oh, here we go. The estimated cost of the bill of exceptions is $1,125, which includes the page rate and conversion cost of any exhibits into the required electronic format. Per Nebraska court, I'm assuming that's court regulations statute 2-105.02C and D. Attorneys shall make the estimated payment through the e-filing by using the action of deposit funds estimate for bill of exceptions. And this is another thing that I find in the legal world that people don't seem to realize happens, and I noticed a lot of it in the Sarah Boone case when she was pro se. Um, how do how does all this stuff get paid for? When you're pro se or you're using a public defender and you have to hire an expert, who pays for that? Oh, the
We
taxpayers.
do.
Cheers. So, and there's specific things that like Florida has that I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a specific agency who had to be in every hearing. And when Sarah Boone would request things, they had to give their okay to, so it's just so, yeah. For non-attorney requesters, deposit the estimate with the clerk of the district court in Kimball County, Nebraska within 14 days from the receipt of this estimate. Make your check payable to that court. Notice to all requesters, if you fail to pay the estimated amount within 14 days of receipt of this document, the clerk will issue a notice to court reporting personnel to stop preparing the bill of exceptions. Notice will also be sent to the clerk of the appellate court. If the deposit is not made or you no longer want the bill of exceptions prepared, you shall be responsible to pay for any pages already typed. I mean, people got to do the work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got to get paid. Like, everybody needs their, people don't work for free. Like, people don't work for free. You might not get an upfront charge for something, but people don't work for free. Like, it's one of those, like, somebody somewhere is paying for it. So when you get something for free, somebody else got charged, whether directly or indirectly. I mean, it's the reality of the world we live in. People get free stuff and they're like, "Oh, it's free." No, mofos, that wasn't free. The person who you got it from was the government. You got it from the government. Well, somebody charged the government to make it. Somebody had to make it. Somebody had to ship it. Shipping cost money. Like, nothing in this world is free. Unless you're Zelensky. I heard that. She goes, "Hey. Hey." Okay, I think this is my last we got one more and then I got to get going.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Uh,
say our time's coming up.
okay, I think that was it. We're at the end of May. So the next was at the end of June. So it was a notice of appearance, but we'll get to that last time. We are at the end of May of 2023. So I think that's a good place to stop. Whereas next time I remember exactly where we stopped. And next week we will do part 4. It's been an interesting experience going through all these documents, not only because it's one of the rare circumstances where I didn't know the victim, but I know you.
Yeah.
So I'm a step closer to the process than I have ever been before. Um, and it's one of those situations of I'm seeing things that a year ago I never would have even thought about. And it's like these are the things that we all take for granted that we don't realize happen every day. Yeah, you got 20 to 30, but with good behavior and probation, you'll be out in 5. Like
The
you were not
max
sentenced to
sentence,
20.
the
Is
max
never the
sentence
max
for
sentence.
manslaughter is 20 years.
Yeah, he's
If they would have,
appealing straight to the
yeah,
Supreme Court of Nebraska. He's not going to a regular appellate court. He filed a motion to go straight to the Supreme Court. Why? I'm not really sure. It's kind of a shitbag move if you ask me, but Roy, you and I being military, um we have a chain of command. Like you don't just skip all the way to the president when you've got, a congressman first. Like, you got to pick your, you got to follow the chain of command. You don't skip all the way to the top because you didn't get your way. And I
yeah.
feel like that's what's happening here. So, yeah, thieves get longer sentences. And I don't know if you were in here at the time, but I mentioned the fact that like a nonviolent offender who got a marijuana charge got more time than someone who unalived somebody else. It's not a like yeah. Yeah, that's true too. But this is the kind of person that I believe will get out and just do something stupid again. I do think there needs to be prison reform in the sense of when people get out, having like, there's a stigma of like, just because someone was a bad person doesn't mean they always will be a bad person. And I believe in second chances, but as we've looked at this guy's rap sheet going all the way back to 2004, he's not there are just some
Not a
people
good
that can't be
guy.
fixed. There are just
Yeah,
some people that can't be fixed. And it's like I wish there was more work opportunities for people who got out of prison and actually want to do good with their lives. I just think there's such a stigma, and I can't say that I don't contribute to that stigma. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't. Yes. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't contribute a little bit to that stigma of like, oh, you broke the law. But then at the same time, there are people who F up when they're 18 and they get out when they're, 35, and they're like, okay, I actually want to, I was 18 and stupid. Now they're older, they're not stupid anymore, and they want to change, and we don't give them the opportunity to prove themselves different. So there's a fine line of, you know, that's just my 2 cents. But there are just some people that just can't be fixed. Like they get out and they do something stupid again. And they do something stupid again. They do something stupid again. Just never ending cycle of stupidity. So, on that happy note, I am going to get going. I am going to go prep dinner. Try to get this little one down for a nap, at least an hour nap. And we'll see you guys on the next one. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the FAA lawsuit. Oh, all these federal cases. I never covered so many federal cases in my life. Now I've got 4. So we'll see how that goes.
I held off
April,
telling you the ones that I know of, so because you're kind
have
of
a good rest.
overloaded as it is.
Have a good rest of your day, everyone, and I'm sorry for your loss, Captain. So I keep forgetting to link the video in my descriptions, but Captain Kearn on his channel did a great job of holding it together and explaining to everybody what had happened, which is what got me interested in looking for the documents and kind of talking about this a little more. But can Cynthia or Roy, can you drop Captain Kearn's link in the chat, please, before we go? Mom, she's all yours if you want to come to get her.
Monkey.
Fine, Angel. I just put you down. No. Well, she kicked her foot and she kicked the filing cabinet, and then was like, ow. It's like, wow, what do you expect? You kicked a piece of metal, and the metal, although it's not strong metal and it kind of flexes, it's still stronger than a human foot. So, and I have my favorite, so sorry for your loss. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
So I will see everybody tomorrow morning at about 9:30. I'm kind of liking that time because I can get up and make sure the little's good to go, everything's taken care of, and then hop on the computer. Angel, I got it. Okay, you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
She puts on that little like crying. You laugh. Your belly laugh. Belly laugh. Yeah. There's there's your baby laugh for today. All right. Y'all have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. Say bye. Have a great one.